What is up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of the Early Retirement Podcast, vlog, whatever. My name is Ray Taylor, and I just got done doing a new episode of Ray Loves Movies, and, I thought it was pretty good. I did a review of Phantom Thread, and, finished up the thing, go to turn off the hit stop on the camera and on my recorder, and guess what? I forgot to hit record on my fucking audio recorder, so I'm going to have to re-record that after I record this. So we'll see how that goes. I was really proud of it, but take two will have to happen. Doesn't happen very often that things don't get recorded. That might actually be a first. But, so this is the show where I kind of update people on what I'm doing as somebody that left the 9-to-5 regular lifestyle in an attempt to follow my dreams as an artist. And I love to work in different art forms. Podcasts, I've been doing that for probably close to a decade now. Photoshop, I've been doing that since I was like 13, so almost 25 years or something like that. Photography, fine art, working on ink on paper. My first and it's an ongoing series of ink on paper abstract portraits called The Many Faces. Will be in a few days here. There'll be 300 available. Or not available, but I will have done 300 of them, and will continue to do more because I find enjoyment in it. So so that's trying to live doing those things, selling my artwork and doing freelance work, doing the things I love like photography and Photoshop and all of that. In the last episode, I talked about how trying to make money through podcasting is getting harder and harder and harder, thanks to YouTube's new kind of policies. But, it is what it is, and I drive Uber and Lyft on the side to help fill in with the paying the bills. So the less I have to drive, the better. But yeah, so it's, but the driving's not bad. It gets me out of the house. I get to, I enjoy looking at, not looking at, but what is it when you observing people, like people watching. I like eavesdropping. I'm much of a voyeur. So driving people around is kind of fun, I guess, aside from having to drive a shitload. But I get to run into different types of people, and that's always interesting. Like yesterday, I was driving, and I was actually in this parking lot just kind of waiting for a request to come in. And I got one. It was just around the corner, and I go to the little pin, and I see a guy there, an older guy, and it's him. And then as he gets close to the car, he wants to sit in the front seat, which, some people do. And it's fine. He looks homeless as fuck. He looks dirty. He looks like he's been outside for a while. And I'm thinking, am I picking up the right guy? Did this homeless guy, is he just taking advantage of the situation? Like a confused Uber driver, pulls up next to him. He's like, "That's me, kid. Let's go for a ride." But yeah, he just looks not super dirty, not super homeless. He's he looks like he was on a bender for about a week, right? Because he's going somewhere. He got a ride, and he's during the ride. Well, first off, before he comes in, he's he's about to sit down. He's like, "Oh, hold on. Actually, I should do this. I had an accident. I'm sorry. I smell so bad. I know. I'm sorry." And he puts his jacket down, his dirty fucking jacket down on my seat. on the passenger seat, and then he sits down and he tells me that he had an accident, and he's apologizing for smelling. He was smoking a cigarette before. He's apologizing. He smells like cigarettes, which I would way choose somebody smelling like cigarettes over the smell that washed over the van and myself after the cigarette smell disappeared, where he's like, he just smells homeless. He's got that just nasty fucking, it's not just a shit smell. Like, I don't know if he shit himself during the night and it's dried partially. Didn't really smell it. I definitely saw it when he got out of the van, and I'm glad I appreciated that he put his jacket down before he came in. But it was like, all that's happening, and I'm driving him. I was like, well, I'm going to drive him, you know? And then he's like talking about, he asked me a question that the map's not showing up on his app on the phone. And then he pulls out this brand new smartphone. I don't know. I mean, it was probably like an Android phone or whatever. So, you know, I would imagine you can get a smartphone for pretty cheap nowadays. It wasn't like an iPhone or anything, but it was a smartphone. And he pulls it out and he's like, shows me and is like, look, there's no map. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. But when I picked him up, there was no location, which rarely happens. People usually have a location. So I'm like, he comes in, which made it even more weird that I'm like picking up this homeless guy and he doesn't have the destination that he wants to go. So he tells me the destination, I put it in, and we go, and it's not far, thankfully. And he's apologizing the whole time about how much he smells and all this kind of stuff. And I don't really dive in and ask people questions, even though I kind of want to, you know, but I don't want to get invested in these people when they're sitting right next to me. It's like, I want some distance, you know, I don't know. But, yeah, so he pulls out his phone. When he pulls out his phone and he shows me the app, it's like, I see my icon, like, this is your driver, which for sure need to change my picture, because I didn't realize that shows up for the, like, is the main, like, anyway. So it's like, okay, well, at least I'm on a legit ride, and it's like he had to have signed up with a credit card, so somebody's paying for this ride. So I'm like, totally fine. Like, sweet, it worked out. You know, I'm going to take him, you know, 3 minutes in my van, down to, we'll see. Let's see where we're going. And it ends up just being like this little apartment complex down the street. So he must have, I mean, he's got a fucking cell phone, and he's got Uber, but he's homeless for sure. So I just assume, like, and he seemed drunk still for sure. Like, he was slurring his words like he's, you know, still drunk from the night before. But that's like, so it's almost like he was on a bender or something like that for a week, and just like, that's what happens. He gets homeless. He goes homeless for a few days. Or he's going somewhere to go sleep, like he knows somebody that lets him sleep at their place, or like a crash flop house kind of a thing. But that was probably the weirdest kind of a ride that I've given to anybody. You know, like, I've taken people, I've had to drive far, I've had to, like, drive a half hour to go pick somebody up out in the middle of fucking nowhere. Thankfully, I get, like, a bonus for, you know, an extra long pickup ride. They give you get paid for that, which is nice. You know, and I've driven people, you know, almost to LA a few times, up to 29 Palms. Like, I've had long-ass drives. I've had people literally talking behind my back, talking about me behind my back. Like, does this guy know where the fuck he's going, kind of a thing. When I'm sitting right there, they can look at my GPS. Like, every seat in this van could look and see my GPS and the map, and, you know, it shows that I'm going where I'm going. I'm following the path to where they, you know. So it's like, but, you know, I don't know. It's that was probably the weirdest. I took a homeless person. And kind of weird on a different level. So I do Uber Eats too sometimes when it's slow, like, people aren't, you know, getting Ubers necessarily, but people might be ordering food. And depending on the area I'm in, you know, certain areas order more food than other areas, and I find it to be driving Uber Eats out here versus Denver way better out here. First off, most people tip out here. It's very rare. Like usually, unless it's like a preacher that says they're going to tip, they won't tip. A lot of times when people say they're going to tip, they don't tip. But I've gotten a few that say they do, and they actually end up doing it. But I definitely get way more tips, especially the Uber Eats. I really love when those come in. Like, I was kind of annoyed when they would come in because it's like, I'm not going to get paid as much. But I've had some where it's like I'm delivering food far as shit, and I end up getting a tip. So it's like it ends up being kind of a nice little break from just going to hotels and restaurants all the time picking people up. But yeah, I delivered like an egg McMuffin or a sausage biscuit McMuffin something, just one McDonald's sandwich to the high school I went to. And it was some girl after, I think it was like around 4. It was like after high school waiting to get picked up or something like that. It was so weird. And he delivered to another school, like an elementary school. It was a teacher, I think. But yeah, that was kind of weird. Dropping off fast food to a young girl who is going to the school that I went to fucking almost 20 years ago. Fucking 20 years ago I was going there, actually. And I graduated in 99, and it's 2018 now. Holy shit. My 20-year reunion. Holy shit. A bunch of bikers going across. But yeah, so those are kind of the weirdest ones. Then there were fights this past weekend that I was excited for, pay-per-view. It was the heavyweight fight, which ended up being Stipe Miocic had the perfect game plan going into it, which, ended up being, kind of lackluster because, he had to go with more of a wrestling and just blatantly stalling, doing just enough not to get stood up. But it wore Ngannou out, and he couldn't do shit. He wasn't able to finish, so Ngannou survived, but, went all 5 rounds, but he wasn't able to do shit. And then Jesica Rose Clark, who I watched, I saw her fights, like 1 or 2 of her fights on Invicta, and then she just got picked up by the UFC. I believe she fights 125. It's either 125 or 115. She just fought Paige Van Zandt, which I think is her second fight in the UFC. And she won that fight, but I heard that before the fight, leading up to it, while she's walking out, and they're kind of, they tell the fighter's story and stuff like that. She lives in Vegas from Australia, but she lives in Vegas, and while she was in Boston for the fights, somebody broke into her house or her apartment or whatever it was. They stole everything that she owned and kicked her cat, and the cat ended up having to get put down. So instantly when I heard that, first off, who kicks a fucking cat? What the fuck is a cat going to do? Cats don't do shit. So it's some asshole for sure. Like that doesn't like cats. I'm not a big cat fan, but I'm not going to go kick a cat. But the only thing I could think of when, like, the first thing, the image that popped in my head, especially her being a fighter, coming out and beating Paige Van Zandt like days after finding out everything she owned is gone and the cat just, had to be put down, was John Wick. And it even took me a few days before I did the Photoshop, but I ended up doing a Photoshop of her on a John Wick poster, and I'm surprised I didn't. Maybe somebody else did it. It seems so obvious. Like when I like, especially since I waited, I was expecting to see another Photoshop guy do it. But I don't know if I was the first, but I did it, and she enjoyed it, which is cool. You can go check that out on my Instagram page at Ray Taylor. But yeah, because I want to start doing more Photoshops. I think I mentioned it before. And just anytime I have an idea for something, and it's for somebody that I'm like a fan of or whatever, or I like their work, I'll throw them out there. Yeah, but it was the fights were kind of disappointing. I almost wish I had just waited and watched them later and just drove or something like that. But it was all right. It's nice. I worked during the week, got all the driving done during the week, so I could have the weekend off, which was a nice change. But it's definitely hard. It's a lot slower driving during the week. I must say. That's when you pick up the homeless guys. That's what I was doing yesterday, man. On Tuesday, probably around this time, probably around like 1 or 2 p.m. I was picking up a homeless guy in the La Quinta area. Um, but yeah, so those things happened. Weird people, photoshops, fucking Phantom Thread review, which, I don't know if I can recommend that. If you're a Paul Thomas Anderson fan, I'll let you make that decision. And I did a review I'm going to record another review of that coming up. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. One thing though, to kind of go on to something else, I for sure am probably like the fattest I have ever been. I haven't jumped on a scale, but considering either all of my clothes have been shrinking in the dryer, or I am a fat fuck and I need to get in shape. I need to start eating better. It's so horrible because where I live, like the room I'm in, the room that I'm living in, it's like a converted office space, but it's studio. It's whatever. But I sleep right. I'm right by. When I'm home, I'm right by the refrigerator. So it's like after driving or whatever, I'll smoke some weed. I'll drink some beers or have some drinks, and then it's like I get the munchies, and then I fucking eat and eat and eat and eat. I eat so much. It's ridiculous. I need to lose weight. So I'm thinking of getting a bike. I want to get a bike, which is weird because I just kind of recently been looking at bikes. I want to get like a beach cruiser. I'd love to get one of those low rider bikes, with the ape hangers and the small tires. Or like a chopper, a bike that not really looks like a chopper, but kind of has that flavor. But a beach cruiser would be cool too. I don't really want like a street bike. I don't want a mountain bike. I'm not going to be mountain biking. But a beach cruiser just so I can ride around the cove. Probably I could ride to this movie theater where I'm at every once in a while. And I want to get a basketball and just start, see if there's a park close by that I can maybe ride my bike to and just shoot hoops. Just so I could be active, so I can actively do something. Because right now all I'm doing is sitting around and eating and not doing shit, and I'm getting fat as shit. And I can feel it. I feel like weak. I feel like it's hard for me to stand up. It's hard for me to do, it's ridiculous. Like it's the biggest I've ever been, and it's just like I'm so immobile. Like I run out of breath so easily. It's ridiculous. And I need to just eat better. It's not like I'm eating horrible. It's just I'm eating a lot of carbs, a lot of bread. It's like good quality bread, but it's like it's bread. So I need to start doing that low carb stuff and hopefully drop some pounds before the summer because I can't imagine being fat in this heat. And I picked up a homeless dude, but there was this other dude who was a lot younger, just normal dude, I think going home from school or work or whatever. Just fat dude, and he reeked. And he wasn't sitting in the passenger seat, he was sitting in the middle seat. the number one seat. He smelled so bad. But anyway, that's it, everybody. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other projects or things that I'm doing. Just, if you want to see the artwork that I'm doing, go to my Instagram page @RayTaylor. If you want to recommend movies that you want me to see, or you're into movies and you want to listen to my reviews, I do a show called Ray Loves Movies. which you can subscribe to on YouTube and iTunes and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to recommend a movie for me to go see, let me know. Go do that. And if you want to donate to me, if you don't want to buy any of my artwork, for sure share it with your friends. And go buy artwork if you want to buy artwork. But if you're not into it, or you want to help support me without doing that, or find another way to support me, Patreon, patreon.com/inspired disorder is where you can donate. All I ask is $1 a month. Right now, that helps pay for my Movie Pass subscription, which is why I'm able to go see movies in theaters all the time. It's $10 a month, and I go see anything that's not IMAX or 3D, which is nice because I'm not a huge fan of 3D. So most movies aren't worth watching in 3D. But yeah, so that helps pay for that. And if you want to go donate some cash over there, donate $1 a month is not bad. It's $12 a year. You're never going to notice it, but if enough people do it, it helps me out a lot. So you can go over there and do that, donate, and there are perks if you want to donate more. But yeah, so that's it, everybody. I don't think I have anything else. I want to get a bike, people. Help me get a bike. If you're in the area, if you're in the Southern California area and you have a beach cruiser that you want to donate to me, let me know. I'll come pick it up, potentially, if you're not far, far away. Or if you have one of those lowrider bikes, man, if you want to donate that to me, fuck yes. If you're a person that makes those, modifies those or whatever, we could do an exchange for promotion. I'll promote the shit out of your whatever, your business. But that would be cool, man. Or if you want to trade for some artwork. Because I'm broke as fuck and I need to lose some motherfucking weight. Or if you have basketball you want to give me, that'd be cool too. All right, everybody. That's it for the early retirement vlog. Pray for me that I can get through my second take of the Phantom Thread review for Ray Loves Movies. Pray for me. Pray to Allah or the devil or the Virgin Mary herself. I don't give a fuck. Harry Potter, save me now. That's it. Have a great week, everybody. Peace out.